Hello, my name is Ashley Meyer and I am the owner of Golden Terra Co. I do custom tie-dye and screen printing and everything in between. So around this time last year was the murder of George Floyd, and there were protests erupting all over the country, and living here in Los Angeles, there was a huge gathering and I knew I needed to show up as support, especially as someone who is half white and has definitely felt that privilege that comes with it. I knew that I needed to go out and support the colored community. I have been to a number of protests in the last few years. I've been to protests for climate change, for women's rights. When Donald Trump was elected in 2016, I was out in downtown LA expressing my disbelief and frustrations. But the Black Lives Matter movement for police brutality, especially following the death of George Floyd, were something that I've never experienced before. The level of emotions, the frustrations, the anger, the heartbreak, it was truly overwhelming. And I know that that is what the colored community experiences and feels every single day. They are out living in fear. They have to make sure that they act in a certain way or speak in a certain way just to make sure that they can go home tonight. That's something that I have had the privilege to never experience before. So I definitely wanted to do more to support the community, more than showing up to these protests. And that's how I came across the Equal Justice Initiative, which focuses on reducing mass incarceration here in the United States. So once I heard about the Equal Justice Initiative and all the work that they do, I knew that that was an organization I wanted to donate to. So I actually came up with 3 different t-shirt designs that focused on human rights and the importance of voting and using your voice to make a change. So the 3 t-shirt designs that I came up with were Go Vote, Voting Like My Life Depends on It, and Respect Existence or Expect Resistance. Through my t-shirt sales, I was able to donate a few $100s by the end of 2020 to the Equal Justice Initiative. So I identify as half white and half Vietnamese. I personally don't feel that I have been a victim of racism, but I have definitely witnessed racial injustices happening to the people around me, including friends and family. If I were to give advice to anyone who has these negative feelings towards others just based on the color of their skin, what they look like, how they identify, I would advise them to educate themselves. I would advise them to ask themselves why they are feeling the way that they are and to try to break it down. And definitely learning from others from those communities, hearing their stories firsthand. I feel that a lot of racism is something that is passed down through family. So unlearning what you've been taught and just understanding that we are all human and we all deserve the right to live comfortably, not in fear. So a lot of it is looking at the bigger picture and not cherry picking what facts you want to believe, but looking at everything as a whole. And you'll see that not everyone is equal. And that's at the fault of those who benefit from others' suffering. I wouldn't say that I have directly been affected by sexism either. I am trying to pursue a career in the environmental field, which is predominantly white males. But I've been lucky enough to intern with a few different organizations where I was surrounded by quite a few women leaders, women of color. So it was definitely gave me hope for myself, eventually working the jobs that they are. Within my own brand, I do a lot of this stuff on my own, but when I can, I always try to incorporate other creative women, other creative people of color, because I feel that the arts industry, more so in films, but you still see it within like visual arts and the fashion industry, a lot of power falls into the hands of people who identify as white. We all need to diversify whatever field we're working in.